Broadcasting live from the glorious eastern coast of Australia to the darkest corner of your greatest fears. Prepare yourself for terrifying tales of Yowies, UFOs, paranormal anomalies, and much more. Nothing is impossible and nothing is off limits. Welcome to Believe the Night Shift with your host, Cade Moyer.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good night. It is a pleasure to be with you wherever you may be joining us from. So, you got to let me know where you're from. I'm always really interested. So, just a heads up that we are only broadcasting to YouTube from now on. There is a couple of reasons for it, but mostly it is we won't get as many dropouts for the sound. We had a couple of people message us saying that the audio was dropping out a fair bit on the Facebook side of things, but everyone on YouTube was perfectly fine. So from now on, we're just going to be broadcasting on YouTube. So thank you to everyone who's here tonight. We've got a little bit of a crew. Guys, we have an open line. The number is 0730403096. And to everyone who's saying, oh my God, Cade's had a shave. Yes, I have. This is usually how I look. You just kind of usually catch me when I'm on my scruffy side. So it is. It's great to have you here. My name's Cade Moyer for those who are new, and I am the tour guide on your journey tonight. And if you wish to join me, the lines are open. Hopefully we do have Gary Lynn, the founder from AYR, joining us. We're having a little bit of a technical difficulty on that side of things. So fingers crossed we can get him on the line very shortly, and we'll get him live on the big screen there behind me. But until then, what did everyone think of the Bobo episodes that we released? How crazy are that gentleman's UFO encounters? So blew me away. He's a listener of the show, so I was kind of starstruck by that. And I really, really like talking to the bloke. He is the most interesting man in the world. But guys, if you have any questions for me in the meantime, please put them into the chat box on your YouTube that you are watching this from. And if you haven't subscribed to the show, please do. That would be fantastic. I would love to kind of build the numbers up on this platform, because we are hopefully planning to do a little bit more video in the near future. Guys, let me know what you think of the set, because this is new. This is how we're going to do it from now on. We had a lot of people say that they want the video back. Why? I don't know. I'm not that interesting to look at, that's for sure. But I know my guests are. So, guys, let me know what you think. I like it. I like the little the TV in the back. I think it looks pretty rad. I think it makes me look a little bit fancier than what I really am. So, guys, I'm going to let you know, call-in line is open. So if you do want to call in, people always jump in right towards the end of the show. And the show is a solid hour. That's all you get. And the thing is, we only have so much time to fit these calls in. So if you do have a story that you want to share, call in now, because you're going to miss out if you'll have to wait another 2 weeks until the next night shift, and that would be no good for me, because I love to talk to people. So still waiting on Mr. Gary Lynn. Unfortunately, he's had a bit of trouble with the internet connection in his region. So, Australia is just fantastic for its NBN connections. Well, all around Australia, it's brilliant. You guys are dreaming if you think you are going to be getting a 5-hour show. Shannon, no way. Absolutely no way, mate. It is what it is, mate. It's an hour. I wish I could do more, but it is. Nessie, only 1 hour. Sheesh, some men have no stamina these days. What can I say? I'm tired. I had a big day at work, It is what it is, you know. Look, guys, if you do have any questions for me, though, hit me up in the chat here. I will happily put out the questions that I think are standout and suitable for the live stream, and we can get you out here. So, Gary says he loves Bobo. Bobo is fantastic. He's the most down-to-earth gentleman that I've spoken to, who's done kind of so much in that field, and he's just so level-headed and just like a normal guy you'll meet on the street. So yeah, I could talk to that bloke for ages. Almost did. It was it was a fantastic little session there. So I am going to the chat here. So I do hope you guys have some good questions. And remember, let me know where you're from, because who knows? I'm pretty keen to do a live show of Believe in a public place. Maybe get a couple of people there. And the reason I ask is I want to find out where the most listeners are. So you let me know where you're from, and we might be able to tee something up in that kind of part of your world. So. In the meantime, I do want to give a really, really, really big shout out to a friend of the show, Attila. He's got a new documentary coming out on the 7th of December, and that is Tracking the Law. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to play you the trailer for this documentary. So if you haven't seen it yet, this is your chance to really get excited, get pumped up about it, because Attila's been working on this documentary for years. I think 2-3 years. Basically, he started the work as soon as he kind of finished production on that first edition of Track. And I'd love to get him a little bit of exposure. So, guys, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to play it for you right now, and let me know what you think.
The whole idea of the documentary was to gather enough evidence of the Australian Bigfoot.
The fires of 2020, all those before it, have shown us that our land management has made Australia dangerous.
We have so many people who don't even believe us, even though they've got evidence and stuff of our people, our other creatures, our other people in our culture.
The only thing left to do now was to go back and see if the Australian Bigfoot did actually survive these wildfires.
It's difficult to know. Those bushfires are so intense that the Yowies might have simply been burnt to death.
So after looking around a bit, I come across a print.
And then it happens, this big, bold blaze of heat comes through the foliage, and it appears that they are between 9 and 10 foot.
And he just rises up and moves away.
So many times other members of my family have been out and they know, where they're there.
Different types of areas where you wouldn't go because there'd be negative spirits.
It's all like a little house.
It started to follow me as I was paddling.
At first I didn't see what she was looking at. I'm sorry,
That looks awesome. I'm not going to lie. That looks amazing. So we have now got the finder. Gary, welcome to the show, mate.
Mate, stuff's going crazy here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, mate, absolutely. Can you hear me?
Are you there?
Yeah.
I can.
Lovely. How are you doing, my friend?
For some reason, every time we try to do one of these... Sorry?
How are you, my friend?
Mate, I apologise. Every time we try to do this kind of thing, our laptops, computers, they just wig out. I don't know why. They just do.
You know what? It's not uncommon for the Blue podcast to run into these types of issues. I'm actually a little bit terrified because I was talking to Attila earlier today, and I'm gonna get him on the show just as his documentary is coming out to kind of interview him about it. And every time I do, I have to go buy a new podcast recorder. These things go, they just go crazy whenever he's on the show. So got to make sure I have the warranty certificate, because this will be if that one goes, that will be number 4 for me.
Mate, I completely understand. We've tried to use my tablet, another laptop, and they're trying to use the wife's Apple laptop as well. And hitting that launch button to join the Zoom meeting didn't work. So now it's actually on my phone. So I should have just done this in the first place.
That's all good, mate. We got you here in the end, and that's all that matters.
Great to be here, mate. Great to see you.
It's been a little while since we've had a bit of a face-to-face, and you've been a pest on the chat for a little while, trying to urge the longer call-in shows. And I reckon this is just a ploy from you to try and get this one to sneak on a little bit longer.
Well, I think, once it gets to that point, we might have to give me 30 seconds, and I'll jump on the chat, and then I'll comment and say, "Okay, extra hour," and then I'll come back.
Yeah, I look. If we go longer, that's cool. I'm down for that.
Yeah,
but
you know me, three hours later.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. I haven't got enough beer here. And I don't know how many people knew. I think it might have been a little bit obvious that broadcast might have been a little bit powered by God's nectar there.
Mate, from what I remember, it was myself and Buck that wanted to continue. It was you and Dean that piped out.
No, not at all. I do remember it the other way.
Good times.
Indeed. And we're going to have to do it again, actually. Dean's he was hassling me last night saying, "Mate, let me know when you want me back." And the honest truth is, I'll have him back every weekend. He would just be, he'd go broke coming up here all the time for it. But I would love to get the whole crew together and do another really big broadcast, aka session.
Well, even if we met up halfway,
Yeah, actually, that's not a bad idea. Maybe that's where we can do a bit of a live show thing.
I'd be very happy to do I think like that way as well. Might be a bit easier in the team, cost wise, etc. We can just jump in the cars, start driving.
Absolutely, that's a brilliant idea.
Meet halfway, and
yeah. Actually, listeners, let me know what you think of that, because I think that might be the perfect solution to me wanting to do a live show, us getting all together, and we could probably do that to celebrate the 3 million download mark for the podcast, which is pretty cool.
Very nice. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you, mate. It's been very cool. It might be 2 million, might be 3 million. I don't know. I don't really keep track of it anymore. So
let's go 2.9.
I'll do that. I'll do that. Not that it matters. Not that it matters at all. So, but yeah, guys, let me know. So I think halfway between us, that will probably be like Rocky or something like that.
Yeah, which, grand scheme of things, mate, it's not really that far away.
No, not at all. So I'll be down for that. And there's a good chance that a whole bunch of us are actually going to be catching up for the Australian Cryptid Conference in April next year.
April, yes. Yep, down in Newcastle.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm very keen for that. And there's just a huge amount of people that are kind of going to that. So I'm pretty keen. So, and there's lots of listeners I know around in that area too.
Well, the thing is, like we see a lot of these Bigfoot conferences over in the US.
Yeah.
So, it would be great to have that kind of interaction and that kind of publicity and movement down here as well. I think it'll really do well.
Yeah. And that's the problem with these things, is they don't really get a whole bunch of publicity about that, because over in the States, I swear, like every week you're hearing about like a Bigfoot conference or a cryptid conference or even like Mothman conferences. Over here, there's like two that I kind of know of. One is this the Cryptic Conference that's going to be happening next year, and the other is the Cardwell UFO Festival, which is unfortunately in Cardwell, but it is supposed to be a pretty cool event. They've asked me to go down there a couple of times, and it just hasn't worked out for various reasons. But that's another thing that should probably have way more attention attached to it.
I don't understand why there's not. I mean, as you've seen, as everyone else has seen, the media are a lot happier to talk about the UFO ET phenomena than what they are to talk about the cryptid phenomena. So again, I don't understand why there isn't more of a push on that side of things. I mean, we got amazing people like Damien Knott and Damien Douglas, you know, those kind of people out there who are at the forefront of this.
Sorry,
dogs, mate, knocking tables and stuff.
No, that's all good. We actually lost you for a little bit there. You went all
those subjects. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry, just what you're saying before about those two lovely gentlemen. You kind of went a little bit robot-y. You got disappeared into the internet.
Okay, well, apparently your internet's fixed, so I don't understand what the situation is. I might have to go give Telstra another call, I think. I was just saying, you know, we have the likes of Damien Knott and Damien Douglas who are pushing the forefront of this, especially Damien Knott with his vast experience and knowledge and interactions. And, you know, he's quite a well-known personality as well in this field, not only nationally but internationally.
Yeah.
So I don't really know. I have heard from a lot of Americans that Australia seems to be, like to them, Australia seems to be a lot more open to these outer world subjects. Even the term outer world seems a bit off. But they look at Australia as like a lot more accepting of the cryptid, the UFO sort of life. I've even been told that, like with the paranormal aspect of the Yowie, the strange things that do happen, like them dematerializing in front of people's eyes, those kind of strange things, and shape-shifting and other things like that, that over here we come across as more accepting of those kind of things. But I think it must be the general population who are more accepting. We just need to try and get the media to come around to our side of the fence.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems like the whole media acceptance around UFOs is basically there. You know, Australia, like you said, is like really leading the forefront, especially Channel 7. And I think a lot of that has to do with Ross Coulthart making massive inroads like in that whole UFO world. You know, he's got an amazing podcast called Need to Know that he basically does almost weekly and kind of covers like the current news within the geopolitical aspect of UFOs. And it's super fascinating because he has this completely different look and different perspective to that phenomenon. So yeah, it's super, super cool. We have a call. It's an anonymous number.
Awesome.
So let's get them going.
Cheeky one.
Yeah, cheeky one. Caller, what's your name and where you from? They got shy. They got shy.
Oh, I'm sorry if I called you cheeky. Maybe that was the problem.
Who knows? If they got turned off by that, that's they need to toughen up a bit. But yeah, kind of going on to the whole Ross Coulthart thing. I think he's like really injecting a lot of positivity around that UFO subject, in a way that like makes you think you have to take these things a little bit more seriously. Because I guess the reality is he comes from that mindset of a journalist of, hey, these things are unknown. What could they be? Like, could they be enemies of ours? Could they be, Chinese spies, Russian spies? Who knows? So he has that really unique aspect to it. And I love what he's doing. And because of that, Channel 7 is a big advocate of his. And just, we're getting documentaries out the wazoo because of him.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I think the initial mindset and outlook view of this topic from the general public, because as we all know, a lot of ET UFO science fiction movies, they are put out in a manner in a fear state. There's not really that many movies. I think Proximity, which is an extraterrestrial movie, which is about peaceful contact. Proximity. So that's probably the only movie I can think of off the top of my head that is on the positive side of the fence. For whatever reason, I guess fear, control, etc. 90% of movies and documentaries and stuff that come out do have a very high fear-based protocol. I think if we can change that narrative, change that directive, get people thinking in a more positive way, I think a lot more people will come out of the woodwork. We'll have a lot more interactions. There'll be a lot more common talk about the subject, and then we'll start to see a lot more of this talk on other news stations, cable stations, radio stations, like more of a common general talk sense, as opposed to the common going of putting the X-Files thing behind things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've actually been finding more radio stations have been asking me to comment about like the field of UFOs, and most of the time I kind of turn them down because I'm not really an expert in this. I interview the people who have the encounters. I don't go out there and do the the investigating or anything like that. But it is starting to create the trend that I'm getting contacted more in that sense. So I think that's a positive thing at the end of the day when it comes to that whole UFO world.
Yes. Well, there's a reason why I'm wearing this shirt tonight. I'm not the AYR shirt. So I'll just set up if you can see that. So it says, "The eyes are useless if the mind is blind."
Oh, that's deep. That's deep.
Very deep, very deep. Now, that doesn't, that obviously goes for the Yowie side of things, ET, paranormal, all this kind of stuff. So much goes on, but so much of it gets pushed aside like it's just stories and someone's been drinking too much, or they're just old folklore from Aboriginal stories and whatnot, and stories passed down through the generations to get the kids to go to sleep. But I think, again, I was useless if the mind is blind. I think, again, if we can change the narrative, change the direction, change the way people look at this, because it seems to be the go-to reaction is to mock and make fun of people. And this is a big problem why 90%, I'm not even joking about that, like 90%, probably more, 95% of people, regardless of what subject it is, UFO, ET, Yowie, Dogman, all of those combined, regardless of what it is, 95% of those people won't come forward because they will see one person post on a community page and then see the negativity that comes from those comments. A prime example is just recently off at Canungra at the back of my place. Well, so it's basically my place, and in between my place and Canungra is the Kokoda Army Barracks. And pretty much where the barracks start, a lady, it was 2 Fridays ago now, a lady saw, or she had a sighting of a Yowie. It was described as black. Now I say ladies because we found out it is a lady. It was posted anonymously to the local community members group. Awesome. But you got to understand why she's posted it as an anonymous poster.
Yep.
So a few of us, including myself, people are jumping on there. Awesome, great. Contact us. I'd like to hear about it. We can keep your details anonymous if need be. And then you scroll through the comments, and again, the jump to go straight to mocking and ridicule is it's built into people that if you don't get it or you don't understand it, or if it's something that you're not sure about, the go-to thing is to mock people and ridicule people. And 95% of these comments were very harsh towards this particular person. And again, and I'm using percentages here, but again, 95% of people don't come forward because of these situations.
Yeah, absolutely. And just think, that is the general public. Imagine what goes on in the, I guess, behind the scenes in corridors like the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, of UFO sightings and Yowie sightings and things like that. There's just so much out there that is just getting lost to history, essentially, because of fear of ridicule. These people do not gain anything from coming forward. They have actually everything to lose by coming forward and saying, hey, I had this experience. Because, like you said, the most people are out there just ready to ridicule them. And that is just, it's just shit. It's what makes what we do, I feel, just that little bit more important and gives people that voice. They can do it any way that they want. They can use a fake name. They can be whoever they want to be. But we give them those outlets without the fear of being ridiculed.
Yes, and it's an amazing thing. You know, you've got people like yourself doing an awesome, amazing job. You've also got people like Sarah Bignell as well out there putting in the hard yards. Brent Thomas, Don Longbeard over in the US and Paranormal Portal, you know, guys like this and people like yourself. You know, we hear this time and time again that without people like yourselves, a lot of this gets lost to history, like you just said. And I mean, just think about how many more stories and encounters and sightings are actually out there that we will never hear. We won't even hear a whisper about it, purely for that reason. And I hopefully, you know, as we know, like the mindset is slowly starting to change. It is slowly starting to swing more to the positive side as opposed to the negative side. But I think we still have a long way to go before we can openly talk about this. I mean, for myself, I now do not discuss if Yowies exist. I will not discuss it. If someone wants to discuss or debate it, I'll say straight away, I understand, but I apologise. I will not discuss their existence. I'm happy to discuss the research and what we know about them, where they may be, interactions, what we find, what we see, what we hear. I'm happy to discuss all that kind of thing. Because at the end of the day, this is my path. The people who are skeptical, which is perfectly fine. I'm still skeptical on a lot of things. I think you have to be to keep yourself sane and to keep the research true, regardless if it's ET or Yowie. You need to have a percentage of skepticism to keep yourself in check. However, the people that once they see where I'm coming from, that I won't discuss their existence, you actually start to see a bit of a change in their thought process and their questions and their wording and that kind of thing. And they actually think, okay, well, this guy's actually serious. And then the conversation takes a bit more of a positive, interesting type of stance for the remainder of that particular conversation. There's also another thing I tend to do a fair bit, which I think will probably help a lot of other people as well, is when we see these comments and these interactions online, because, you know, everyone's big and tough behind a keyboard. The thing is, those people are on a different path to yourself. You know, if you've been walking down a bush track and you've had a sighting or an encounter where you've heard something that changes your paradigm, completely alters your reality, now you are on a different path. The people that stop and ridicule, their path is separate to yours. So you need to remember that those people are on a different path to yourself. In time, when they are ready, those people will then join your path, and then they'll more easily, more comfortably see where you sit.
That is so insightful, and it's such a mature way to basically go about. I'll put it in the most layman terms I know. It's the most humble and mature way to go about haters in these fields.
We have to, mate. I mean, there's that much hate out there, especially after the last couple of years with what's been happening. It seems the physical interactions with people have changed. Everyone's got very much used to hiding behind a keyboard, saying what they want with no repercussions of what they may say. You know, they might get a Facebook ban for 30 days. Big deal.
Yeah.
They either start a second account or they just wait 30 days to come back and do the same thing. Now, with the mentality of people these days, if we can get more people to understand, like, you don't need to believe what your next door neighbour says. You just need to be more understanding, more accepting, and just go with the flow, basically. You know, stop jumping straight to that instant ridicule button straight away.
It's one thing to kind of get the hate and the ridicule from general public and, you know, people who may not understand those elements of the phenomenon. How do you go about hate from like other researchers? Because I don't know what it is, but the Bigfoot world just seems to bring out the biggest dickheads in the world, and it's disgusting.
It is. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't think I ever will. And as you see, you see a lot of this, especially in the US. It's this mindset that if one researcher doesn't understand a point or a finding that another researcher has, again, we're going straight back to ridicule, straight back to putting that person down. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't know enough about these situations to give definite, exact answers unless we are having those definitive interactions that we are striving for. So, like it or not, we have to look at all sides of the sphere, of the cube, all sides, because we how do I put this? So we have so much going on. We have people that have generalized encounters, be it just a plain sighting, or, you know, they're going for a bushwalk and this 9-foot monster that doesn't exist steps out of the bush, changes their reality for the rest of their lives. We have a plain black and white encounter like that. And then we go to the other side of the fence, like one of our witness audio reports, with a bow hunter that witnesses one of these beings disappearing in front of his eyes. And then moments later, he walks directly through that spot where this being disappeared. And the things we actually get a lot more of those kind of reports than what people would expect. We just don't release them for, you know, obvious reasons. So because we have so many different dynamics and paradigms with these subjects, and this also works for the ET side of things as well, we need to look at all sides. We can't just be focused on one point. And I think that's a big problem with these topics and with infighting within the community, as dumb as it is.
Absolutely.
That we need to try and work together, because we don't know all the answers. As much as we're trying as much as we can to get out there as much as we can, document as much as we can, unfortunately, we still can't sit down and, you know, share a beer with these beings.
That's it.
We're not up to that point yet. So we need to look at all sides, use all sides, and this also comes back to belief from not just researchers, but people that are into the subject as well. Okay, like it's if you hear of an encounter that doesn't make sense to you, doesn't go along with your belief systems or your religion or whatever the reason may be, the big thing is you don't need to ridicule it. All you need to do is take it in, put it in a little file folder on the back of your head,
and move on.
That's it.
Yeah.
Move on. Exactly right. You don't need to believe it. Just take it for what it is. It's just another tab, another tally on the board.
That's it.
That you can, maybe 12 months later,
you can refer back to it.
Exactly. And 12 months later, you might have ridiculed these people ridiculed your neighbour at that point in time. 12 months later, you have an encounter or a sighting that blows his out of the water.
Exactly.
So, you don't need to believe every aspect of these situations. You just need to take it in, go with it, because again, we need to We need to look at it from all sides of the box.
That's it. That's it. I do want to let you know, there was a caller that kind of called in. I got him on the line, but they kind of disappeared quickly. I guess they didn't want to hang around because I was letting you finish that great that great path you were going down. So, caller, if that was you, please do call back in because we will get you back on the air if you want to ask Gary a question, myself a question, or if you have something that you want to share. Yeah, please do call back because we are not ignoring you. I was just letting you sit there for 30 seconds and. Yeah, it is what it is. But, mate, I agree with you 100% because that's the killer. That's what's going to kill this film. That's what makes it hard for people to take it seriously is just the people out there that make a mockery of the people who have encounters. That's coming from researchers, and that's just ridiculous at the end of the day.
Yeah, I really don't understand it. I mean, I do this not only for the love of getting out in the bush and connecting with nature. It's obviously a subject that I'm very passionate about and I've been very involved with it. I don't understand this animosity and infighting with it. I just don't know. I've got nothing to say about it because I just don't get it.
Yeah, and it looks like we got the caller back. I'm going to get him on the air. Caller, what's your name and where you're from?
Yeah, and I'm Toowoomba.
Oh, g'day. And sorry, what was your name?
It's actually Lisa. I'm actually Gary's sister and his little nieces.
Lisa, are you calling up to share like funny secrets about Gary here?
His little niece is wanting to say something.
Well, that's great, yeah. Screaming.
Sounds like my kids are on the phone.
Hello. Yeah, so that's my daughter's kids. They call me Uncle Gowie.
Oh, I love that, Uncle Gowie.
Gowie with a G. Yeah.
Love you.
Love you too.
That's great.
Oh well.
When are you going to get a
haircut? What was that?
When are you going to get a haircut, mate?
Yeah.
It's not happening. Not a chance.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling in. That was great.
Well, lovely. Oh,
that's great.
I think I'll have to ask my sister next time if she can like take my niece upstairs and do that. So.
No, that's amazing, mate. And don't ever cut that hair. You'll end up like me.
Well, hopefully not. I mean, I can't. Mate, I'm trying to be as sexy as you now. Like, if I cut my hair, like you'll have competition.
Oh, mate, I don't need any more competition in my life. Thank you. Have Dean around here flashing the blonde tips all the time. It's just calm down, mate.
Stylish, classy man.
Indeed. But something that I kind of wanted to touch on with you about like other researchers, and one of the things that kind of just blows my mind a little bit is the ones that kind of say, well, the one that I saw didn't look like that, so you didn't see a Yowie.
Yes. Yeah, that happens way too much.
It does, and it's like the biggest pet peeve I have.
Well, okay, prime example. Do you and I look alike? No.
Exactly.
Not at all. I don't look like Dean. Dean doesn't look like me. Dean doesn't look like you.
Mm.
You know, right there, that you would think that would be enough to put that little argument to rest. I mean, with the reports that come in, like some come in more ape-like, some can come in more human-like. It doesn't make any sense. It's this one-track mind that if something doesn't fit into my path, my journey, my beliefs, my understanding, my religion, then it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Yep. And I guess the real downfall to that, because like, you know, at the end of the day, like anyone can do anything they want. Like I personally like don't give a shit. If someone wants to go out there and hate on others, like that's fine. You know, like what you eat don't make me shit. Thank you, Jay-Z, for those amazing lyrics. But you know, it doesn't have a progressive attitude to the research element of it. And I think if you're going out there calling yourself a Yowie researcher or a Bigfoot researcher and you have that type of mentality, you're just making a mockery of the whole thing. And you look like a joker yourself at the end of the day.
Correct. It's, again, you know, we need to come back to unity and work together. But I do find that a lot of the people that have these kind of comments, they're not in the subject as such. They're sort of dancing around the outside.
Yeah.
They haven't done any proper when I say research, like they barely even looked up YouTube. It's just like I saw something strange. Didn't fit in with anything else. So you know, that's what they are. Again, you know, hopefully down the track, once we can, you know, make these topics, make these subjects a bit more public in a sense, make it a lot more common speak than what it is now. I think only then, that's the time when things are going to shift and change for the better.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that I really hope the Bigfoot world gets as much, like, not so much credibility, because that's all about perspective, I guess, but as much positive limelight as what the UFO world is getting at the moment, because you guys are out there, you're doing the real hard yards, and not to say too much, because I've been told not to talk about it too much, but you know, there's you know, you're getting more attention than like the normal type of attention that you might get in the bush.
It would seem that way, yes. Yeah, so one of our locations might be compromised due to some what Dean described as lurkers, some visitors that you know may be hanging around us, or we might be coming to a crossroads with. They may already been in the area, and we've come through at the same time. We don't know who they are. Definitely not researchers. 5 or 6 of them, maybe. We're still looking into it.
Yeah.
I really can't say too much about it because it is still fresh, and we are still working out what's going on. Dean has been in contact with some certain people. They've confirmed it wasn't them. And I will say, because I have been seeing this a fair bit, the assumption that we were on a military base. We were 100% not on any military base. We weren't even near that particular military base. So if we just squash that right now, this is a national park that we're at. And unfortunately, it's a location that is of high significance. Yowie-wise, high significance.
Yeah, absolutely. It raises a whole conversation that we really can't go into too much right now, but there's so many question marks that are surrounding
there is.
this.
And the thing is, well, like it's nothing that we haven't heard of before, like especially over in the US. There's a lot of talk about these situations over in the US, and now it might be happening here as well. Well, it already is happening. Like, you know, we've already heard the stories of, you know, government type people harassing close encounter ET witnesses and that kind of thing. So I mean, like we have heard those stories, but now it might be coming around to our side of the fence.
Yeah. And the thing is, well, you know, you get close to the truth, and sometimes funny things happen.
Very true. I mean, for all we know, it could have just been a chance encounter.
Absolutely.
They might be already in the area, and we've turned up at the same time.
Yeah.
It could be that, or it could be the fact of we are getting too close, and they might be trying to push the local troop out of the area. You know, we don't know. It's all speculation at this point in time of what the reasons are.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure a lot more light will kind of come out in that in relative time to the general public, which is tell you what, it's going to get a lot of people talking. But Gary, I do have some questions from the listeners in the chat.
You're lucky. I literally thought you were about to say, right, it's time to wrap things up.
No, you've got 12 minutes.
Well, no. It's not how things work, mate.
Sorry,
not
mate.
How things work, mate.
The connection, it's breaking up. No, for real. I do have some good questions.
You do that, when you do that, just don't move your head so much.
Yeah, sorry, mate.
Like you need to move your head with the voice, so it actually looks like it. Yeah.
All right. I have a couple of good questions here for you. I think they're good.
Good stuff.
I grabbed them up here earlier. So Jeff has asked, he's asking me, but I wouldn't know. So I'm going to ask you. He says, hey, Cade, anything happening in the Pilliga these days? Epicenter seems to be the Gold Coast hinterland and further down south mostly.
We actually haven't had any reports from the Pilliga for a while. I mean, I'm sure there's still stuff going on. Probably guarantee that. But we haven't had any contact from anyone from the Pilliga. I think the last time I heard of or spoke to someone in the Pilliga was when I thought it was going to be a half-hour phone call, and I've been 3.5-hour phone call. And that's when he was talking about a troop that has been in his area for 20 years or so. He has a mutual understanding with this troop. So to the point where he can actually walk through his property at night with no torch, with nothing, out into the middle of the bush, and he's fine. They know who he is. He knows who they are. Everything's fine. And the reason he contacted us is that he started having issues being screamed at, having things thrown at him from the bush line. And he worked out that there's potentially another troop or a rogue male moving through that doesn't understand that he has a mutual connection, friendship, relationship with this existing troop. So he basically gave us a call to try and, get some ideas, get some help on what he might be able to do to resolve the situation. I mean, like over the years, he's had many encounters and sightings and happenings. I know a lot of people have heard me say this on podcasts before, but he actually had one of his horses killed. So the horse was killed with a metal fence stake that was punched straight through the horse, and the stomach was ripped open, and only the liver was taken. So the most nutrient part of the horse. He also had a heap of chicken incubators for the eggs. He came home from work one day, all the lids are up, all the eggs are gone. So, yeah, being the situation, being where he is, being what he knows, he has an idea what's going on. He goes for a walk, goes up the end of one of the paddocks, and there is a pile of eggs with a finger-sized hole punched in one end of the egg. So it's like 30 protein shots. So you're sitting up there, protein shot, off you go.
Yeah.
And, I think that was maybe 4 or 5 months ago that we really got the last decent contact from around Pilliga.
Yeah, right.
Otherwise, as Jeff said, it's mainly Queensland and those northern New South Wales and the Blue Mountains kind of areas.
Yeah, absolutely. So that kind of takes me to another question here. Just perfect kind of segue. By Status Tomb, has Gary or AYR been out in the Blue Mountains?
Personally, no. Dean has many times. Dean's had a lot of good interactions around the Blue Mountains. He's the best one to tell these stories, but there was one male called Fatfoot which they used to play hide and seek or spotlight. You know, when you're a kid, you play spotlight.
Yep.
The torch. That's basically what they used to do with this. You know, you would assume a young male. When I say young male, I'm still talking, you know, 8.5 foot tall. But yeah, pretty much every night about 8:30, they'd hear him coming up from the valley, smashing trees and breaking branches. And he'd come up, he'd sneak up, see how close he could get, and they'd turn around their torches, hit him with the torch. He'd take off back down the valley, and they'd play this game for hours.
Unbelievable.
So yeah, Dean has had a lot of activity and good activity in the Blue Mountains, and as Yowie Dan still has activity this day, including Attila.
Yeah.
Even our good friend John Kershaw. I've been talking to John a bit. He's actually been having some good activity. I know it's not Blue Mountains, but it's still, you know, down that way. He's been having a lot of good activity on his property too.
Yeah, right. It's the Blue Mountains is such a fascinating area because it's got like a lot of UFO activity, a lot of like Yowie activity, and you know they've got deep underground military bases there. So yeah, the DUMs, yeah, and I've spoken to a couple of people who've had their eyes on the DUMs, like they have confirmed they're there, regardless of what the government will tell you in that situation.
I think it's getting a lot harder these days for the government to pull the wool over our eyes in regards to things like that.
Yeah.
Especially with so much in the way of encounters and sightings of ETs. And it's like, I'm not sure if you'll be able to pull it up, but a little while ago, I sent you some photos via Messenger from a customer of mine that her husband, who was in the Navy, and they live off the back of my mountain on the other side of the base. And the husband took photos of a UFO craft over top of the Canungra Army base. So, you know, these kind of things are going on. And the whole thing of, it's a weather balloon. You know, these days with the advancements in modern technology, modern society, they're going to have to come up with a lot better excuses to try and fool us now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do have, there's a whole bunch of those images. So what I'll do, I've just pulled the best one up. I won't be able to show you, I don't think. I can definitely show it on the live stream. So I don't know if you've got that one handy or not, but
I do.
I can definitely show that. So yeah, this is a real funky photo, and man, there's definitely something solid there. And I think you said like this guy hang on to these photos for years.
Yeah, so I've taken photos with my phone of actual printed out photos that they've just, you know, that's the ones. Yeah. I've taken photos of actual photos, printed out photos. So that is directly over top of the Canungra Army base. So her husband took a series of snapshots, and obviously the photos don't do it justice from what the story was. So basically, the husband went out, doing a lot of taking a bit of photography from around their property because they're on, I think, 10 acres. And I think this was going on. Honestly, I can't remember if it was either going on dark or going on dusk. Dawn or dusk, either one. And the husband watched these lights pulse back and forth between each other, and then form a horseshoe shape, and then go back to a straight line, back to a horseshoe shape. And he luckily snapped 3 or 4 photos of this light object, UAP, UFO, whatever they want to call it these days, over top of the Canungra Army base.
Yeah. It's truly fascinating stuff, and it really makes you wonder, like, what is going on out in the Blue Mountains, man. It is just just the weirdest place, one of the weirdest places in Australia, in my opinion.
Very much, mate. Because I mean, like, you know, with the DUMs down there, I'm sure there's a lot of UFO activity over these DUMs, and I believe there's, especially with the mountains up here as well, which would be the same for the Blue Mountains, the attractant to the top of mineral, the top of rock within these mountain ranges. Seems to be a lot of these UFOs do hang around these mountain ranges. So there's got to be some kind of attractant to these areas that makes them constantly turn up there.
Yeah. It makes you wonder what's under there to just keep that interest of these things constantly coming back. And I remember early 2000s, like there was a massive UFO wave, and I think I've had about 4 or 5 people come on the podcast to share encounters that are like basically en route from the coast all the way through to the Blue Mountain Ranges.
No, it's all inspiring. And again, this comes back to 95% of people not speaking of their encounters and sightings.
Yeah.
If there's that percentage of that, is it a UFO flap? Is that what they call it?
Yes.
When there's a cluster of sightings, they're flap. Okay, righto. If there's this UFO flap wave that comes through, how many people actually saw the same thing? Maybe even closer. Maybe got a better look, a more detailed look, a detailed photo, detailed video that didn't come forward. Some of the stuff. It's the same as like when you come back to the Yowies. There'd have to be people out there who have face-to-face daily interactions with these beings that won't come forward. Even Sarah, on Yowie Centre, she does an amazing job. Speaks to her witnesses and consoles them. She obviously has therapeutic. The name's leaving me right now, but her training in her counselling work. Some of the stuff that people will eventually come in and tell her about. It's amazing, and the encounters and the little details that Sarah, she's very talented in what she does. The details that she can pull out of people, and I'm sure there's people, even like people like Damien Knott. I'm sure there's people out there who have some amazing footage, still photo encounters, knocking on the bedroom window. There have to be some amazing stuff out there. Again, 95% of it we just don't see, don't hear about.
Yeah, absolutely. And the crazy thing is, like, some people are just living this, but that's their normal lives every day, just every day.
Oh, mate, it's incredible. Like it's even like up here in my mountain, the Gold Coast hinterland. Like there's even people up here like that have sightings and encounters with Yowies up here. But see, with my mountain, it's half city folk, half mountain folk. Whereas if you go to Springbrook, where the thermals were taken, they're more mountain folks. So they're quite happy to come out and talk about it. Like, okay, that's a green tree. Yes, that's a green tree. Up here, they don't do it so much.
Yeah.
So if we go to a gathering, friends' place for a barbecue, something like that, and I'm wearing an AYR T-shirt, and obviously that sparks conversation. And next thing you know, they feel comfortable to actually talk about the situation. And I just completely lost what I was going to say. But yes, hopefully down the track we can move forward.
Indeed. Well, mate, I'm gonna end this with a cracker of a question for you. And
do I need to go on the chat and start commenting? Come on, Kate, another hour.
I can hear the
Do I have to do this?
I can hear the heartbreak.
You just watch the comments go insane.
We'll see.
Oh, mate, I tell you what.
We'll see.
You know what? You know what? I'm not going to do this halfway thing with you now. Now you can come 3/4 down, and we'll come 1/4 up. How
about I just come all the way down there?
That's payback for all this stuff about you cutting stuff. Short. Has Gary ever heard mind speak from a Yowie? Personally, no. I've heard them talk.
Like chatter?
I've heard them speak. Sorry?
Like chatter in between themselves?
Chatter between themselves. So there was one time myself, Wade Matthews and Shannon Guthrie were heading up to the thermal location, and Dean was already up there. And when we got there and radioed through the Dean that we've parked the car, we're walking up, he then went deeper into the bush. And I have then now I'm going to start talking a bit more woo woo. I know some people like it, some people don't. Too bad it happens. I went off walking down the track barefoot to ground myself to connect to Mother Earth, which is a story in itself. And when I was coming back up the track, I was yelling out to Wade, "Where's Dean coming from?" Because Dean was coming over the radio asking. Sorry, let's make sure no puppies underneath me. Dean was asking the guys to whack trees and give sound reference. So when Dean was coming back out of the bush, he'd have a sound reference, a location to know where, what direction he needs to go. So while they're whacking trees, that kind of thing, I'm walking down the track, grounding myself. And I was probably about 50 metres from camp, and I could hear talking over in the bush between two individuals. It sounded like one at first, and then I realised it was actually two individuals. And I yelled out to Wade, "No, Dean's coming from the southern direction." And Wade's like, no, he's coming from this top direction. We went back and forth a little bit, and Wade's going, "No, here," and I'm going, "No, down here." And then, yes, Dean popped out where Wade said he was going to pop out. However, the talking I heard turns out it wasn't Dean.
Oh, wow.
But if we go back to the mind speak side of things, so I use a lot of myself and Shannon actually. We use a lot of I'll just go back to the grounding side of things, because this is something that everyone needs to do. You don't need to go out and do a mantra and a meditation and whatnot. It's just going out barefoot, connecting with Mother Earth. It can be as simple as that. So to really ram this home, I was walking barefoot down a track. Now, Springbrook is known for leeches and ticks, and it's crazy. It's the amount of leeches in Springbrook is insane this time of year. I'm walking down the track barefoot, not walking fast, just a very slow stroll. I come back to camp after all this Dean thing was going on. Wade and Shannon are flicking leeches off left, right, and centre. I'm standing there. I do not have one leech on me.
Unbelievable.
This goes back to grounding and connecting Mother Earth with that energy and vibration. Now, going back to Ed, ED, whichever one it is, how you doing? So the mind speak side, I know that comes back to what people will say is the woo-woo side. I personally haven't had mind speak as such, but again, going back to the meditation, putting out that intent and that kind of thing, I've actually done level 1, level 2 Reiki. Reiki is working with energy, healing, transferring, that kind of thing, connection. So yeah, I've done level 1, level 2 Reiki. Huge process. We need another 2 hours to talk about that. So I actually use the Reiki, use the meditation, send Reiki to areas. If you don't believe this kind of thing, cool, doesn't matter. It's all good. Not you cards, I mean, in the general sense of our listeners. So within Reiki, within meditation, I have had contact, and I'm not the only one in the team who can say this.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I love the woo aspect of the Yowie, because I find that to be the most fascinating part. And no disrespect to any researchers who may take offense to this, but man, I'll be so bummed that if at the end of the day it's just some big monkey,
For sure.
I feel like this thing is just way more talented, if that's the right word, than that. And
well, that's also why, definitely for myself personally, I think I can speak for the team as well, is that we don't look at because of our interactions, our findings, our experiences, we don't look at them as an animal. We look at them like our traditional landowners, including both in the US as well. We look at them as a people, not an animal.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is 100% the right way to go about it. I recently had Bobo on the podcast. By the way, Bobo wants you on his podcast. I don't know if you know that or not.
Mate, catch up. It's already done and dusted.
Ah, there you go, mate.
Yep, Bobo and Cliff as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, he kind of made a really cool point that I've never thought of when it comes to, you know, like the Bigfoot and the Yowie, and he said that it almost seems like it's the more mature creatures that are attached to the woo element of it all. Like you never hear, oh, I saw a juvenile disappear, or I saw a juvenile do like the predator thing. It always seems to be these very large versions of the creature that are, I don't know, are they way more in tap with the world around them?
Well, it could be a coming of age thing as well.
Yeah.
You know, coming of age, or when there are little ones around, maybe it does happen to the little ones, but because their energy and vibration is connected to the parent, they're a passenger or like a backpack to the parent's movements.
Yeah, like a hitchhiker type of thing.
Exactly right. So it's which, you know, again, we don't know. I tend, and like just to clarify, the reason I'm on this path is because of experiences that I've had, findings that I've had. It's not something like that I just decided to let's give that a go, see what happens. There's reasons for myself being on this path. There's even people I can see in the comments right now who I've had deep conversations with who are on the same wavelength as myself.
Yeah.
And again, other multiple team members who are on that path as well. And again, this comes back to experiences and findings and sightings and encounters and whatnot. You know, but yeah, sorry, a bit of a tangent there, but you know, it very much could be the kids are just a backpack, a passenger to the parent or to the older beings until they can learn and understand these ways. I mean, if we do go down that spiritual type of route, however you want to say it, people that I hold quite close to me, you know, they've even said that the Yowie, they're actually their memories are transferred when they pass and when they're born. It's a transferable imprint memory.
Yeah.
So when I say that, I don't mean like they remember exactly what goes on, but their bloodlines and their history is imprinted through their DNA.
Mm-hmm.
So when they are born, they come back, and they already have an understanding of their history and their knowledge and the law of the land, etc.
Yeah, it's cool, and it's so fascinating.
Oh, like even that sort of, like, again, I can go way deeper with that kind of thing, but because of who this person is, I'd like to get his permission before I start telling him his personal stories and connections and that kind of thing.
Well, I'm going to make you.
But again, yeah, sorry.
I was going to say I'm going to make you a deal because I'm going to end the show any minute. But
$20.
But I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you on for the next one if you're keen, and let's like
$23.
$23, and we'll dive into the super woo. We'll call it the super woo.
$35. 35.
No, not $1 more.
Okay. Yes. Sorry.
So
super show.
If you're keen for that, we'll do a super woo app.
Mate, I'm happy to go super woo now, but you're the one that wants to go to bed.
Don't put this on me, mate.
I'll put, mate, like I've even as recently as just to carry things on. I'll even tell Wade Matthews' little sighting he had on Saturday night just gone.
Save it.
So
I know what you're trying to do.
No, I'm not saving this. No,
Gary,
mate,
your audio, it's falling. It's falling.
You're acting like you're 73 years old, mate. You know, like, so Wade's walking down the track. Dean and Al Newton, they're down the track with the thermals. Wade's walking back up to camp, and I see Wade, his head's flicking left and right. What's going on here? He comes up and, you know, bit of pace to him, and he said that when he left Dean and Al down the track, he's come back towards camp. To his left, he heard, when a horse snorts out their nose, that puff of air out their nose.
Like the big grunt type thing.
That's the one. Yeah, he heard that. He looked directly to his left, and in a hole in the foliage, to him it was 6 inches, but the hole itself was maybe probably a metre wide. So he's heard this huff type noise. He's looked to his left. He said he saw this like black shadow, the quickest thing he's ever seen, like the Flash. This black shadow just cranked across this opening, and then half a second later, probably 20 metres back down the track, he's scuffling through the foliage down there. So you'd assume that was this being stopping down there, which is down close to where Dean and Al are. That was just Saturday night, let alone we had Shannon and I heard what sounded like a tree being forcefully pushed over. So when a tree falls, it's the slow crack, and then it falls.
Yep.
This is crack, boom. Yeah, and then we're walking back up the track and we hear heavy running through the forest to our right. Didn't see anything, but you could definitely hear it.
Geez, you've got to be on like high alert when something like that's going on.
Oh, I think, luckily we're just sort of a bit more in tune than the common person to these situations and whatnot. We tend to pick up on these things a bit quicker and a bit more naturally than the common bushwalker that does go out there.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I kind of wonder how many experiences like this are just lost to people thinking it's the sound of the bush.
That's the thing, man. Like, there's a lot of stuff that we hear, that we pass off as that's just Mother Nature.
Yeah.
I will say the weird thing is, though, the AYR team have an odd reputation for trees falling in the bush when we go out. It's weird.
Well, what's the saying? Does a tree make a noise if the AY team's there not to hear it?
They're going to have to change that saying, aren't they? Like today, AYR team.
It's crazy, man. And I think it was yourself that just recently shared some footage of, even if it's hoax, like it does kind of open up a really cool discussion of like how fast these creatures might move. I saw you shared a video of,
yes.
Like some bipedal creature, like just silently, just absolutely tracking through the bush at incredible speed. And, you would think it maybe covered 50, 100 meters in like 3 seconds.
Yes.
If that.
Well, the thing is, like, I saw a lot of, like, when I posted it, I didn't post it with any claims.
Yeah.
It's just, and that was it. Reason being, basically, because I don't want to deal with, the conversation of fake.
You said this was real.
Yeah. So the reason I posted that is, so if people go back through our witness audio reports,
you hear things like that all the time.
Exactly right. Yeah. And we have an encounter on one of the witness audio reports where one of these beings was clocked at about 90 kilometers an hour. So this lady was driving in her car. Corner of her eye, she sees something. So she looks, and there's this thing on all fours running beside her car. She's doing about 80 kilometers an hour at this point in time. At first, she thinks it's a dog. So she keeps watching, this dog's keeping up with me. And next you know, this dog stands up on 2 feet, so goes bipedal, from quad to bipedal, hits in the next gear, takes off faster, crosses the road in front of her and off the other side of the road. Poof. So you've got that. Okay, and then we go back to the spiritual kind of side, which what can I say? So comes back to stone ceremony, and spiritually through meditation and whatnot, calling, asking for contact. And within this situation, this being, he actually said that we moved that fast that to your eyes it would look like teleportation.
Wow.
And there's other reasons why I can't say too much without getting permission. I'm happy to talk to you about it, off air, obviously. There's other avenues to that stone circle ceremony, where is he? I'm pretty sure I saw his name in the comments. It connects to someone we all know, and lays credence and lays truth to someone that we all know.
Wow.
Hence why I put a lot of I hold this particular person close to me, because they don't bullshit.
Yep. Well, mate, we're going to get permission from this individual. We're going to get permission from that individual. We're going to share this on the next one.
Well, the thing is, like, he's through his own encounters and experiences, he's writing a book.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah, so he on his iPad, what he's written down so far, he let me read a couple of stories. So, obviously it's, permissions, and it's his life, his stories, etc. So I can't go blurt that out to the international community. Jumping the gun on him.
Yeah, no, of course.
But yeah, it's lays credence to someone that we all know. And again, this is why I posted that video, just to see what the reactions were.
Yeah.
Because it is something moving very fast. We've got a war report with it being moving 85, 90 kilometres an hour, running beside a car, witnessed by a lady while she's driving. And then we've got beings in spiritual form telling people that they move that quick to us. It looks like teleportation.
Yeah, a lot of food for thought. That's for sure. But Gary, I'm giving you. I'm giving you 20 extra minutes.
Settle down.
We have to wrap it
20.
up, mate.
You didn't give me. No. I think we still got 7 minutes at least, mate.
I'm going to give you 7 minutes to wrap up and tell people what you're doing and where people can find you and why we're going to get you back.
Well, I might just sit here then.
I'm going to sit here until we're back. And I'm not moving.
Yeah, take my ball. I'm going home. So we are still getting out there as much as we can. I've got prior engagements tomorrow night, but a few of the guys are getting back out into Springbrook tomorrow night.
Awesome.
I have a location for some witnesses up a bit further north and then western Queensland that I don't really need to get to. They've had some good activity up there. I was hoping to get there October, didn't work, and then this month, flying to Sydney for work and stuff, so it's sort of messed things up a bit. So yeah, good to try and get up there. We're all looking forward to getting down south to the Cryptid Conference, because again, it would be nice to try and get something. It's going to take a long time to get to the US scale of these conferences, because they've got one a month all around the country.
Yeah.
But I mean, like if we can even get something that grows into something awesome, that is going to pull in a lot of the general public, even out of curiosity. People that aren't into it, or people that haven't had sightings or encounters themselves. If we can get people infatuated in the subject as well, like just coming down the street just to go have a look. People are quite happy to do that with these Comic-Con type things. So why not a cryptid conference?
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, mate, we don't stop. There's lots of places we need to get back up to. Location in Brisbane, which is still having good activity. Shout out to Jeremy. Mate, there's just so much going on. So much going through my head right now. Back to Springbrook, back to my mountain, back to Brisbane, further north, further south. There's so much going on. The encounters reports haven't stopped coming in.
Yeah.
Also, big, huge, happy, love you. Shout out to Sarah. Happy birthday.
Oh, yes, it was her birthday the other day. Happy birthday to Sarah.
It was.
Such
Happy
a little
birthday,
legend.
Sarah. Yeah. So everything's still going ahead, full steam. And the other situation we spoke of at the start of the show, or whenever that was, I guess we'll just have to see how that develops as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's either going to blow up to be something incredibly massive, and that's going to be like super, super eye-opening for, I guess, for you guys, and could have a who knows, like what kind of ramifications comes from potentially that. There's going to be a lot of man hours to kind of scrape through that. But from everything that, you and I probably know, we're kind of talking a little bit secret squirrel business, but, and the listeners are probably like just absolutely got the shits, but it's pretty crazy, pretty scary, pretty awesome all at the same time. I know when Dean called me up and was talking to me about it, I was having like a bit of a nervous laugh about it, but I was like, oh shit, that is, I don't know what, I don't know how to take it. And I think that's the cool and scary part of it all.
Yeah, I'm a little bit the same, but I'm also very intrigued as well.
Yeah.
I'm not too fussed about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like if they're out there, they're out there. Like I don't care. But I am still intrigued about the situation. And as we know, like our phones listen to us, let alone proper, higher, stronger avenues. It's simple as we talk about a subject, and next Facebook's giving you adverts for what we're talking about. We weren't even on the phone when we were talking about it.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not the only one who's done this either, but even things you've thought about, next you're getting ads on Facebook.
Isn't that
which
crazy?
Is a strange coincidence. Exactly right. So if that's going on, what else is going on? So it's still a bit too early to really say anything with any definition. We'll just have to let it play out and see what happens.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, mate, we'll just keep getting out there, keep doing what we do. I've got a hanging for a day trip. We haven't done a daytime adventure for like a proper go bush daytime adventure for a while. So I'm hanging for that. Which the snakes are out now, so that's great fun. It's actually Saturday night. The guys actually stepped on a young red belly as we're leaving the area, which could have been interesting.
Oh yeah, far out. That's I don't know. Do you get taipan sound that way?
Yeah. Where was that? I think that was up in Springbrook too. So that was, we were walking up a creek, up a dry creek / cascade. And there was a taipan off to the right, which was not happy we were there, in its strike position, striking at us, but we were like 5 meters away, so calm down. And then coming back down the track, I'm rock hopping, having a jolly good old time, and I've hopped off a high rock onto a lower section, but I'm in motion. I'm not looking. I'm just in motion, doing what I'm doing. And as my feet have left the top rock, I've then looked down. There's a big brown having a snooze on the rock. So at the last second, I've like split my legs to go around it. My legs have hit the deck. The snake's jumped up. I've jumped down. Everything's jumping around.
Oh, mate.
Bouncing down this creek.
The true reality of looking for yowies in the Australian bush.
Exactly, mate. Like you don't see too many snakes and stuff out there, but when you do, it's always a story to tell.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even like Dean loves giving me crap about this. Even like when you go out there, you get so in tune with the forest and what you're looking for and listening for. There'll be this big, almost 2 meter long goanna that I nearly step on, and it takes off. I jump 6 foot. He runs up a tree. Dean's over there in stitches laughing, and then for the next month, I've got to cop crap for getting scared of a goanna. But Shane Forsyth, check for Apple trackers on your cars. Not a bad idea.
Yeah, indeed, and that's actually something I was talking to Dean about earlier. He'll probably run through it with you. I reckon you guys need to get a frequency scanner to just kind of pick up on a couple of things like that, because you just never know.
Well, if it's not that, mate, like it's there's plenty of satellites up there.
Yeah, exactly.
And, satellites are used for watching things.
Yep, indeed.
So we just have to play it by ear, see what happens.
That's it. And
so, how have you been anyway, mate?
Busy.
How have you been? You've been good.
I've been good. I've been good. I've been very busy.
Yeah. Yeah, what have you been up to?
I see you trying to stretch this out to the extra 2.5 minutes. You're
I have
a penny pinching.
no idea.
You're
no
a penny
idea
pinching,
what
sir.
you're talking about. No idea.
Look,
no idea.
Let's wrap it up tonight, mate. I've been busy. I've been good, and we're going to chat for a little bit after this anyway. So,
What do you mean you've been good? You're cutting the live stream short,
mate. This is
Look at these
got an
things.
extra 50%.
Come on,
tonight.
Kate. It's Friday night.
This is
Friday night. Woohoo! Like,
this is a Cyber Friday special, mate. You get 50% extra on your regular episode of the night shift. So, but mate,
look at you trying to talk it up like it's like, oh, we're giving you more for less. Come on.
we do this for free anyway.
That's true.
That's
true.
it, mate. That's it. But look, let's wrap it up for tonight. I'm going to get you back on ASAP. So after this, we'll chat some dates and let's dive in on the woo. I want you to get the permissions from the right people to say the right things and. I reckon we could probably, if you want, we'll tee in maybe a double shift, a 2-hour session.
It's like 27 minutes away now.
No, mate.
Okay.
I am genuinely surprised my laptop has even lasted this long because I haven't got it on the charger at all. So it's amazing that we just haven't died. So
well. I'll just give yourself and the viewers a bit of a preview of some 4-week-old Neo Mastiff, 3/4 Neo, 1/4 English Mastiff puppies.
Oh yes, please. You just came on the live stream to get your puppies out.
Pretty much.
Look at that.
It's Sleepy. That's Cade. It's there. Not happy. Yep, not happy. Right.
Trying to slap me. What a little legend.
I'm sorry. And then there's another one here.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Look at him. Oh, good stuff.
Okay, so I've got my extra 2 minutes out of you.
Yeah, there you go. You happy, mate? All right. I'm going to thank everyone who's joined.
By the way, no.
Oh, mate. Bloody joker. All right. Well, look, thank you to everyone who stuck around tonight and joined us for the extended edition of the night shift. Thank you, Gary, for jumping on and battling the technology to make it possible because I was like, mate, I've got to go live. I'll see you there soon. And I could just imagine the stress levels on your side were through the roof. And
my wife is not happy with me right now.
Mine's not going to be happy with me now. So you just passed your negative energy on to me. Thank you very much. But I think it has been worth it. So, mate, always a pleasure hanging out with you. I always have so much fun. And
likewise, brother.
I can't wait to chat with you again. I'm so keen to get in on the woo and go deep and open some people's minds.
Again, the eyes are useless if the mind is blind.
I love it. I love that. That's really good. I want to steal that and make my own damn shirts with it. Is that a copyrighted thing?
This is a. I actually can't remember where I bought this shirt from, but hey,
yeah, I like it. I might do it. So
you make it, I'll buy it.
There you go. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you are late to the show, this is going to be sticking around for about 12 more hours. You can watch it for free. Until then, it will go on to the Believe Plus side of things. So if you want to rewatch the video or just listen to the audio, you can sign up to Believe Plus. $5 a month. You can jump on there and get access to about 50 plus episodes that aren't available to the public at the moment. So, or ever will be. So it's only Believe Plus members. So, if you're interested in that, jump on board. If not, that's cool.
Well worth it.
Hang around for this. But guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Gary, thank you for your time tonight. It's been a pleasure.
Legend, brother.
And we will see you on the next live show. Cheers, guys.